I'm on Facebook. I think we are going live any second. Facebook loves to think about going live a bit longer than it likes to. Okay, yes, I think we're live. Hello, hello. Still getting my head around this whole scheduling live, but I'm loving it. It's so much better for me. So say hi if you are joining me live. Say hi. Let me know where you are calling in from, chatting in from, where you are in this glorious world of ours and what it's like where you are. It is freezing here. It is freezing here. I'm in the southwest of WA, anyone who doesn't know, and it was, well, I say it's freezing. It's freezing for West Australian time. Yeah, it's freezing. I think it got down to 5 degrees last night. So for us, well, for me, it's really cold. Anyone else that lives in somewhere that gets snow and has a proper winter are probably laughing at the moment. But yes, it's cold here for me. So let me know where you are calling in from, where you are, what it's like where you are. And I'm just going to see if I've got comments. And yes, and then if you're catching the replay, give me a hashtag replay so I know that you are catching this live. I wanted to come in and talk to you about crying, about tears, about crying. We just kicked off the next round of the Money Healing Mastermind on Monday. And one of the things I always tell my clients, the group that we are traveling with, whether it's in the Money Healing Mastermind, whether it's in the Activate Your Intuition program, in any of the work that I do, I always begin by telling my clients that it's okay to cry. And in honestly, when we're doing this clearing work, when we are doing this, yes, this clearance, it's normally something that occurs. It's normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to for anyone to feel sorry for the other person. So we have a big discussion about crying. And I just realized this morning I've never had that discussion online openly with my audience. And I wanted to have that here with you as well, because we go through as a society as a whole, crying isn't one of those things that we get encouraged to do. We do more so if we are female. If we're male, then that's a whole different discussion. That's something that, yes, man up, get your, don't cry, all of that awful words that we've been telling the masculine males in our life for so long. But even as women, it is one of those hard things to actually understand or to deal with. Yes, what do you do when someone is crying? I spent my whole life, I feel like my whole life in tears. So when I was younger, I remember just being told that I was too sensitive, to stop being so emotional, stop being so sensitive. And I would cry all of the time. Like, even if I had to say sorry to someone, even if it was the smallest thing that I had done and I had to apologize, I wouldn't be able to get the words "I'm sorry" out without tears. And everything it would just throw me straight down into tears. And I found myself in that space quite a lot. And whenever there was anything confrontational come up, and any time I've hit a block in my life, any time that there was an issue arise, I would end up in tears. I didn't know any other way. I was just, that was me. I was a crier, and I would have to apologize profusely to people. I'm sorry, I cry. It's my thing. It's what I do. I can't help it. And then I came into the third level. So, anyone who doesn't know, I spent 12 months studying with the Institute of Intuitive Intelligence. I graduated, goodness, so over a year ago. So, 2 years ago, I began that journey. And yes, if you're here, say hello, beautiful people. So yes, I began that journey through the third level, and I tell anyone, I tell everyone, that was like 12 months, well, 6 months. The first 6 months of that 12 months journey, I was in tears, and the retreat, a part of the process of the third level and the study, we go on an 8-day retreat in Bali, and every day of that retreat, I cried. In fact, my mentor, Ricky Jane Adams, has commented before, she's never known anyone to have so many tears. Like, it was, that's how I cried. I just cried and cried. And the next 6 months, the tears started to ease. And over the last year, the tears have not arrived as frequently as they used to. And I've been giving a lot of thought about that. And as I have these discussions more and more with the group of women who come into the mastermind, the group of women that come into the Activate Your Intuition programs, I talk more and more about tears to them and crying. And I truly believe that we cry because we don't have another way of releasing. Yes, we haven't been taught another way of releasing. That's what our body knows. That's what we've taught our body to do. When we get stuck, when we get hit with fears, when we get hit with blocks, when we get hit with an uncomfortable situation, which, let's be honest, is fear. Whenever we get hit with fear, we don't know how to process it. We don't know how to release it. We don't know what to do. So with all that emotion and all that hormones and all the everything that's being released in our physical body, we release through tears because we don't know any other way. We haven't been taught any other way. And when we and that's absolutely okay if that's where we are starting. As I said, that is where I started. I was a ball of tears. In fact, one of the lead mentors at the Institute, glorious Amy Towle, talks about tears are not meant to be wiped away. Again, this is not something that we are taught. Tears are actually we're meant to allow our tears to go all the way down past our chin line. Once the tears actually go past our chin line, our chemical reaction occurs in our body, which again helps us with that releasing process. But again, in our society, we're told to cover up the tears, to wipe them away before they even really land on our cheeks. So when we were going through the process of the third level and in the retreat, we were encouraged just to allow the tears to fall. Allow them to fall, allow them to go past that cheek line and allow that release to occur. Allow our body to do the releasing and the clearing the way it knows how. And the amazing thing when you go on this journey, the amazing thing that I have learned about tears is, yes, they are a glorious way of releasing. What is even more glorious is when you learn other ways to be able to release. Yes, and that's where I am in my stage at the moment. That's what I teach these other women to do as well, is it's absolutely okay to cry. And when we do cry, we don't, if we see someone crying, we absolutely don't feel sorry for them. We don't pity them. We don't feel shame for them. We don't go down into those awful, fearful feelings with them. Yeah. We absolutely hold them in compassion. And there's a big difference between compassion and empathy. And again, Ricky Dane Adams, my mentor and teacher, has talks about this quite fiercely, and I love it. Yes, the difference is with compassion is holding someone in fierce love, being unafraid for them, be absolutely unafraid for them. Oh, my glorious sister Barb is here and says she loves a good cry. Oh, I love you immensely, Barb. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, and it's that release. Yeah, that release where our physical body, I truly believe our physical body hasn't learned any other way. It doesn't know how else to deal with those emotions, how to deal with those fears, how to deal with it. So we do what our body has been programmed to do, and we release through those tears. And it is a glorious releasing way. And to be able to hold someone in compassion when they're releasing, knowing that they are in the best possible place to release, in that compassionate hold that you hold them. I say to my students, I'm not going to apologize if you are crying. I'm possibly going to have a bit of a smile on my face. I'm possibly going to have excitement and a twinkle in my eye, because I know that you are in the best possible place. I know that this is just a release and you're exactly where you need to be. And it's exciting, yes, because once we release that fear, once we get past that and release it, we are open to understanding what is there. Fear rises only for our service. It's always for our service. And when we can actually make friends with our fear and understand how glorious it is to be able to meet our fear, and we can do that through tears, we can do that through so many other ways. But as a society, we need to understand that it's okay to cry. It's okay to release that way. And then it's also okay to be able to find all these other tools that are available for us, so we can teach our body different ways to deal with the fear before we get to that point. Like I truly feel like tears, when we get to that point and we can't help but overflow with tears, it's because we've our body has got so much stress and so much held up. We haven't dealt with it. We don't know what else to do. So it overflows with tears. It's that overflowing. We get to that point, we're like, oh my goodness, overflow with tears. And if we can back up a little bit, if we can start dealing with the fears that are there first, as soon as they start to bubble, as soon as they start to rise, if we can deal with them then. We don't have to put that pressure on our body. We don't have to put that emotional pressure on ourselves. So when we get to that point, we don't know anything else but just burst out in tears and in rage and in that final point, because we have pushed ourselves so far. Yeah, we definitely have the ability to deal with everything and our fears before we get to that point. But if we get to that point as well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because we haven't been taught another way. I hadn't been taught another way until a year ago. Yeah, and the more I uncover and discover and journey, I'm understanding the role that tears have. I'm understanding the role that our physical body has in that release. And we are releasing fear because we don't know any other way, but there are other ways as well. And if you do cry, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Stand in that power. Yes, stand in that understanding that you are releasing what no longer serves you. And it is absolutely okay. If you have someone who is crying, hold them with your fierce love. Yeah, unafraid for them. Unafraid for them. Sending them that glorious love from your heart center, holding them unafraid, knowing that they are in the best place they are, processing, they are releasing, and they are exactly where they're meant to be. We do not feel sorry for them. We do not feel shame for them. We feel love and compassion. Absolutely. So yes, I would love for the conversation around tears and crying to absolutely change. And for when we cry, we celebrate because we are releasing. Yeah. As I said, and Barb can contest to this, I spent 12 months, well, definitely the first 6 months of the third level in tears because I didn't know any other way to process. And that's absolutely okay. And now I've learned other ways to process. My tears are becoming fewer and fewer. And that's not because I'm no longer emotional like I was called when I was younger. I'm still emotional. I can still feel all the feels. Yeah. But the difference is when I start feeling those fears rise, what used to just grip my physical body so I couldn't do anything else, it used to like imprison me. And I would just have to burst out in tears. When I feel those starting to bubble now, I know what to do. I know exactly what to do to be able to release them at that lower point before they start stacking up and explode over. And if you want to know as well, get in touch and let's talk about it. I can share with you what we do because yeah, it is a new way of understanding. We need to be more in touch with our emotional side. We need to be more in touch with our energetic side. We need to be more in touch with our physical side so we can understand what is happening, understand what is occurring, and absolutely in love and compassion, hold it all. Yeah, hold it all. Val says, I love it when a friend client finally cries too. Yeah, it's just that release. And I cannot wait for us as a society to understand so much more about tears and how we can release that. It's just a release because we haven't been taught any other way. And there are other ways. There are ways to be able to deal with that fear before we hit that breaking point. But it's also okay to be at that breaking point. It is absolutely okay. Thank you, Barb, for hanging out. And anyone else that is here, been here live, anyone else who is catching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. Let me know, what do you think about tears? How were you taught about crying? What were you told when you cried? Yes, as I said, I was told that I was being emotional. Yeah, stop being so sensitive. That's my superpower, baby. Now that's my superpower. Yeah. And I love that it has taken me on this journey now to understand exactly what my tears were all about, exactly what my emotional side was about. I can actually see it for the journey that it's been, and I celebrate it. And I am so freaking grateful for it. Like, I am so freaking grateful for every day of my life that has brought me to this point and getting to do what I get to do because I freaking love it. I absolutely love it. If you want to know more, if you want to find out what I do, if you wanted to just hang out, book in a 20-minute chat, let's chat, and I can tell you all about what I do and see if it's something that you want to journey with, if you want to journey with me as I do what I do. Okay, big love to you all. Have a glorious Friday. Yeah, and I'll see you next time.